Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Public Allies webinar. Today, I'm joined by Nisreen, and I'm so happy and grateful to have you here, Nisreen. Before we get started, I'm just going to give a quick bio of who Public Allies is, who I am, and then a short introduction of who Nisreen is. So without further ado, let's get started. Public Allies is a nonprofit organization that helps to support the most vulnerable people in society. And we do unique webinars, roundtables, interviews, and business promotions to spread awareness about perspectives, information, and different ways of healing. We at Public Allies believe that there is more than one way of healing. Now, tonight, I'm your host, Jacob Lethbridge, and I'm actually the host of the upcoming Authentically Inspired podcast. I'm also a motivational speaker, author, and I'm on a mission to inspire 1 million people to live their most authentic and inspired lives. Now, the whole reason we're here tonight is because of Nisreen, and she is going to share with us some amazing information about finding your soul's purpose. So, Nisreen is a hypnotist certified by NGH, the National Guild of Hypnotists, and has had special training in past life regression and SP advanced hypnosis. Besides being trained in hypnosis, she is also a certified Reiki master and teacher. Being a student of psychology, she was always intrigued by the working of the subconscious mind, which has led her to train as a hypnotist for healing purposes. Her curiosity further propelled her on her spiritual path. Circumstances in life brought her her to experience energy healing when all other avenues had not helped much. Having a logical mind, she needed to understand how energy affects the body and how it can be used for healing purposes. Once she understood the science behind it, she trained to become a Reiki master teacher. Now, her passion is to help more and more people learn and teach this amazing healing technique and reap the same benefits. It is important to her to bring awareness to these holistic wellness techniques, which give back our bodies the ability to heal itself. She feels very fortunate to be able to convey this message through various platforms, such as published articles, talks on TV, and various events in the GTA, as well as online summits. I'm so happy to have you here, Nisreen. I have done Reiki once in my life, and it was a tremendous experience. It was so like crazy, and the teacher told me I had a lot of blocks at the time, and it was a completely wild experience. So I'm really happy to have you here tonight. I think we're going to learn a lot of really cool information, especially if we're new to finding our soul's purpose. So with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic over to you. And if anyone has any comments, leave them in the chat below, and we'll do a little Q&A at the end. Okay, with that, I'm actually passing it off to Nisreen now. Okay, see you at the end, my friends.
See you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. And I'll just begin on our main topic here, Awaken to Your Soul's Purpose. And in between, I'll tell you a little bit about my story, how I got on my journey and awoke to my soul's purpose. So I want to start by a passage from Wayne Dyer. In one of his books, he said, "You come here with something to do. You are part of a universal consciousness, and there are no accidents in it. It is in your true essence, not the false self, not the ego part of you, but in the true essence of who you are. You are infinite, and you have something very profound to accomplish while you are here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? Find it, pay attention to it, listen to the calling, see the clues, the cues, see the alignments, whatever that might be, no matter how absurd or bizarre they may seem to everyone around you. If you have a calling inside that says there is also something else, don't ignore it. Don't die with the music still inside you. Don't die with your purpose unfulfilled. This particular passage of Wayne Dyer really resonates with me because you're here on a mission. For instance, prior to birth, right? Like just like an artist who decides on what paints will go on a blank canvas, our souls choose what it will work on, such as, and what are the tools they'll need, such as our parents, our ethnicity, country of birth, a lot of those kind of things. But along with that, we also choose a number of possible paths that would allow us to experience certain aspects of our being. For instance, if courage is one of those aspects of ourselves that we wish to experience, then we would collaborate with other souls. And so circumstances would arise in our lives where we are required to invoke that courage within us. Similarly, we choose certain mission or a calling that would allow us to maximize our full potential on this life stage we call Earth. In order to fully step into our calling, we must first forget what it is at birth, because that might inhibit. So that we can then actually work towards it. This may take years, decades, and sometimes even lifetimes of soul searching before we arrive at a point in our lives where we are consciously making a choice to remember who we truly are and deliberately call forth what gives us greatest joy. Personally, I feel it is in our best interest to connect and remember as soon as we can. Yes, sometimes certain experiences are necessary, certain circumstances are required to fully prepare us to be who we came here to be. The second we reunite with our soul's calling, the universe registers our seriousness, and we come to the realization that nothing will stand in our way. At that moment, all fears and obstacles begin fading as the path unfolds in front of us. At that moment, we will move mountains and cross oceans just so that we can become one with our divine mission. Funny enough, once we remember that mission, we often realize that the mission has very little to do with us and everything to do with everyone else. It is a mission that allows us to serve humanity and to light the paths for others through servicing, healing, inspiring, teaching, empowering, host of different things. And right now, the circumstances that we are all in, I think, I'm sure you'll agree too, that it is all the more necessary to be in alignment with what our soul's calling is. To identify your soul's calling, you have to first connect to your soul, right? A soul's purpose is often a topic that is debated and discussed with metaphysical and spiritual implications. But what if it was really not that complicated? Maybe it's much simpler than we make it out to be. If we just pay attention to some little things, we could understand and connect to it easily. I would like to share with you three simple and fairly basic ways that can help you connect to why your soul chose this life or what exactly could be your calling. It doesn't suddenly come. It's gradual evolution. The first one, identify your highest joy. As beings of energy, as you know, I'm a Reiki master. I talk a lot in energy and terms like that. So, anyways, as beings of energy, we are literally born with the tool. When what's that tool? Our feelings are the direct line of communication with our soul. At any time when our thoughts and actions are aligned with the soul's vision, we know it immediately by the way we feel, which can be identified as harmony, inner peace, joy, gratitude, love. Whenever you feel an immense feeling of these particular ones, then you know that you are in alignment with what your soul's vision is. When we feel good, our vibration is instantly higher, which easily leads to inspired action. The more we get in touch with the feel good component within ourselves and listen to it, the easier it will be for us to define our mission in life. For the longest time, I had no clue what my calling was. I spent a lot of time wishing I could do something else with my life, which was more than just a job. For me, the universe nudged me by sending me signs, which would make me realize what would really give me joy to do, such as bringing up information of hypnosis courses when I was really looking for bookkeeping courses. And yes, Google does send you, ads and information on what you may be interested in, but I had never searched that or anything remotely close to that. So Google couldn't have known unless it was reading my future mind. But anyways, I responded to that nudge, like which kept coming. And I said, okay, let's look into this, made some inquiries, and when I made those inquiries, it led me to realize that this is what really excited me, and this is exactly what I wanted to do. This was my old passion when I was a young girl, which I had tucked away years back to do the things that actually made sense to my logical mind, that that is what I needed to do to be successful in life and earn money, etc., etc. Then I got another nudge, and that happened when my esteemed teachers for past life regression decided that they were going to retire. And they sent me an email saying that they were putting out their last class for Reiki, the Reiki course. At that time, I didn't know what Reiki was. I had no clue. I just knew in my heart that I had to take that course. I had no idea what it was, okay? Totally no idea. Didn't even know it was energy healing. But something that came up in that made me feel that I have to take that course. And as soon as I read more of that email, there was a deep feeling within me which just could not be ignored. It's it was an odd kind of excitement, which you kind of feel in your heart and in your gut. Gets It's a mingled feeling of joy, as if something is opening up, or like almost like blossoming in your heart. You just know that you have to act and pay attention to it, and you just cannot ignore it. Well, that's what happened with this email for me. And I signed up, and now that's history. I moved on again ahead and became a Reiki master. But don't despair if you cannot or yet remember or connect to who you came here to be. Your only duty in this life is to follow your highest joy. The rest will just follow. Once we follow the first inspired idea, we are sending out energy with the intention of, I am my highest joy at this given moment. This intention goes out into the universe and slowly intensifies. What started as a little seed is given more opportunities to grow and flourish every time when we follow our highest feelings, because the energy behind that intention creates more and more movement in the quantum field to bring us what contributes to this joy. Just try it with little exercise, like close your eyes and think, what inspires you? What excites you? What makes your heart sing? What is that one thing that you have been wanting to do but putting it aside? It may be something very small, but that starts the process. Baby steps. It's time. As Rumi says, respond to every call that ignites your spirit. So, what ignites your spirit? Go ahead and take action towards it. The second point I would make is allow your being to guide your doing. One of the most frustrating things that we do to ourselves is we get stuck envisioning the million tasks we must do to accomplish anything. That can also be the very thing that keeps us from moving forward. Answering or calling is very much like a process, just like everything else. The end result may look nothing like what we started off with or what we had planned, but that is completely okay. Sometimes what we think we want only serves as a stepping stone that leads us closer to fulfilling our mission. The universe does not care what we do that makes us radiate with joy. It can be taking a Reiki class like it was for me, or it can be a baking class for someone else, or maybe going on a vacation, or just maybe picking up the phone and chatting with an old friend. If that brings you joy, so be it. The universe only cares about the vibrational signature we give off when we are being in that joy. By moving ourselves into that inspired action, we may end up maybe meeting a teacher for life who becomes our source of inspiration, or maybe come upon an opportunity that otherwise would not have been there had we not followed our heart to be there at that precise time and location. The only decision we have to make is to start following the things that give us whatever amount of joy instead of coming up with a huge action plan that to get ourselves from point A to point B. It is what you have because what it is what you've been told to do, or maybe it's because everyone else is doing it, so that's how I should do it. So how do you do this? Let's say, for example, your daily activities comprise of chores like house cleaning, meeting deadlines, cooking for a family, maybe of 6 or 10, who knows. Then invite yourself to do some or all of those things with as much joy and presence as you can. So, for instance, just maybe listen to your favorite musical beat while you're doing your task. And believe me, when you do that, the work does get done faster. Or maybe you can squeeze in a couple of minutes, a little, few little activities that bring you peace or make you come alive. They can be maybe getting a few minutes of quiet time to read or meditate or do a hobby that you just feel like doing or you enjoy doing. Any one of those things can help you connect to your joy. For me, what happened to me, I have to tell you that story. So that might kind of bring things into perspective. Um, I started making orgone pyramids for myself and my family members, and it just excited me to do that. It excited me to think of what results it would bring. I was moved to see the beautiful results both visually as well as energetically. It was supposed to be just for me and my family because I was reading up on it and wanted to do that. And this is what I was excited about. And when they were ready, I just shared it with some people, and they wanted it. They wanted me to make it for them, and they wanted me to tell me how much it would cost. I had not even priced it at that time, and I had to figure out the pricing and all, and I made it, and it turned out to be a huge bestseller, and a lot of people wanted it. I got tons of orders. Who knew that when I started with this particular joy of just making it, and because I just wanted to, it would lead to this. Exactly the same thing happened with my smudge spray. I used it just because after clients and stuff, I always used to smudge before and after and would get the smoke alarm going. So I needed something different. And I did my research, came up with my own version of smudge spray and was using that. Again, people who came to me for meditations and stuff really liked it and started placing orders. And now I sell it. Both of those items became a business product for me to sell, but it didn't start that way. I made something which, though required a fair bit of effort, it gave me joy doing it. And that led to something else in future. So that's what I mean. You never know what things can lead you to. Do not ever underestimate the power behind these activities, as they are what make the energy accumulate. Remember, it is always being in the energy of I am my highest joy at this given moment. We cannot find our calling outside of ourselves, it resides within us. So remember to ignite it within us. The more we can allow that energy to flow to us and from us, the more the universe can bring everything that resonates on the same energy level to help us remember and create our destinies. This is a journey of thousand little steps of learning and choosing. Along the way of building my holistic practice, I was constantly discouraged by my lack of knowledge and tools to run a business, as well as I was overwhelmed by the millions of tasks I was constantly bombarded with. I invested a great deal of energy and time on different courses to be able to make myself more marketable, more knowledgeable, and reach a larger audience, blah, 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 blah. No matter how much I tried, it never seemed enough. One day, I decided to be myself and speak my truth because that gave me joy. That felt good. Unlike all the other attempts where I was trying to be like everyone else, but that was what I thought I should be doing, even though it gave me no pleasure. I immediately felt a huge sense of relief. When I express myself authentically with my heart connected, I have seen results which, of course, inspires me to do more of the same, right? At the end of the day, it's isn't only about what we do, how we do it, what our titles are, how polished our website looks, how many credentials are displayed on our bios, and how many award-winning books we write. It is whether we can allow ourselves to step into who we truly are and boldly yet lovingly declare our authenticity to the world. No vibration in the universe is more powerful than our own energy, which it when it becomes an extension of our divine calling. The only rule here is to be real and be authentic. No pretense, please, as the vibration just won't match. Even if your pretense tends to fool some of our humans around here, it cannot fool the universe, as the vibration will be very different. It will not be in alignment with your soul's calling. Remember Wayne Dyer's words: don't die with your music still in you. You can try make this small exercise. Maybe write down a to-do list, like your daily to-do list. Write just everything down, put it all down, download it there on a piece of paper. And now look at that list and circle or tick or highlight the ones that give you any amount of joy. Now, after doing that, look at that list and see where you can insert a couple of feel good activities into that list. And fourth step is how can you replace or attach the boring to dos with some inspired or fun action? Simple ways to do it. Try that and you will you will find some activities to bring joy and connect to the joy so that you can vibrate at that energy. This will help you with a little bit of direction. And but remember, when you do this exercise, please don't cheat and don't make a list based on items 2, 3, and 4 so that your list is all looking good. So be authentic, all right? And then make that list. The third step is release the fears to embrace your calling. The more we are aware of our true essence and our connection with the divine source, the more empowered we become, and the more we can claim the gift of free will, which ultimately allows us to exercise our birthright as the conscious creator to be, do, and have anything our soul desires. To achieve that, of course, we must first free ourselves from everything that limits us. Limitations can take form of fear, such as fear of uncertainty, fear of change, fear of lack, or even fear of success. Yes. Limitations can also manifest as endless excuses, ranging from I have a full time job with no time and money, to maybe I am too old to do this. I just don't know enough. There just isn't enough for everyone. Or maybe I'm not special enough. All of these come up as limitations. There is no one way to initiate the journey of liberation. There's only what works for you. Personally, the tools that helped me were and still are practicing Reiki, um, doing meditations, hypnosis to overcome some of my limiting beliefs, and even connecting to my guides and higher self, being in nature, journaling, reading inspirational books. All of these are tools that I used as my means to awaken, and now I feel great joy in using them to help others to move in the same direction because it does help. You can identify your own tools. I used to be a person who got stuck on what ifs. What if I failed? What if I became a laughing stock? What if they think I'm crazy? Then one day I decided to use my what ifs in a different light. I started saying, what if I succeeded? And that, of course, started a whole new fear of success. But then I moved to, what if I learned something from this? What if I could help someone? I made a point to do this every day for months, and it made a remarkable difference in the way I look at myself and my ability to exercise my free will. I still get my negative what if thoughts, but now I force myself to change the dialogue and use the different modalities that have helped me to overcome them and just change the what ifs to something else. That what if I didn't do, what would I lose, right? Prior to tapping into our true creator role, many of us feel powerless. We just feel like powerless victims. We may be passionate about answering our calling as an artist, but end up working at a bank because we are afraid we won't make ends meet. We feel limited by the conditions in our life. We submit ourselves to our so called fate and tell stories of how we aren't fortunate enough to be one of those who seem to have it all. Well, then you shall be just that. Yes, it's harsh, but it's true. When we awaken, we become aware that we are who we say we are and what we create. How we wish to experience everything in life depends on one thing and one thing only, our choice. Don't get me wrong, I do not mean that you should chuck a job that pays your rent and brings food on your table. We need to be real. It simply means continue what you need to do, but add a little time to things that bring you joy. Being in that right energy will attract the right possibilities towards you. Your calling is something your soul chose in the realm of formless before it took on a body. And you can choose again at any time in this life, because the truth is, your soul remains who you truly are, while your body and your mind are only additional tools for you to carry out your mission so you may experience your own creations physically, in this time and the space dimension. The power of choice has never left you. Once you decide, allow the universe to bring you the rest of the co creators to make it happen. Don't think about how, it's just going to happen. Just bring that vibration forward. It is time to unleash your free will and write your own destiny. Once every part and every cell within you is aligned with this inner knowing, you have awakened to the divine power of creation. That power lives in you and patiently waits for you to connect with it. If you could start from a blank slate and create anything you wanted in life without limitations from this moment, who would you be? What would you create? What is that one small step you can take today to be that? Start there. Just follow your heart. When you pick what you want to create, pay attention to how it feels in your body, how it feels in your heart, in your gut. That will give you the clue you need to know if you are in alignment with your soul's purpose. Your soul is basically energy, and you will feel that energy if you just tune in, not out. Tune in. Right now, we're all going through massive changes in our lives, which propel us to do things differently in a way that we earlier thought was not possible, or we were told we couldn't do it. In my case, I was reluctant to do my hypnosis sessions or my Reiki online, over Zoom, because I just was not used to it. But now circumstances pushed me to do what I was procrastinating about. I've now opened myself up to do regular hypnosis sessions over Zoom, even past life regressions, and it has actually been better than I ever expected. Same thing with my teaching Reiki. I was uncomfortable teaching it online before. I was one of those who said, no, no, I can't do it. But then someone approached me far away from Pakistan, and she said that she wanted me to teach her because she had learned Reiki, but it was not properly taught. And when I spoke to her, I just felt an urge to make sure she does it right. So I took that challenge, crossed that bridge, and taught her. And once I did that, I realized that I was just staying in my limiting belief. I could move forward and teach online. And by not doing that, I was actually doing disservice to those who wanted to learn but could not come to me in person. That was a huge shift. The call of the moment is that we need more healers. And that's what I realized. That was the call I woke up to. I'm glad I recognized it, and really, it gives me so much joy to teach. It's almost like I'm on high when I am teaching who needs the drugs. That is the energy of joy deep in my core, recognizing my soul's purpose. I was just open to the nudges and responded to the joy that I needed to, and I just followed that nudge. It helped me awaken to my soul's purpose. And I hope the steps I spoke about and explaining my own journey will help you find yours. Thank you for being here and listening to me talk about it. Namaste.
Nisreen, that was absolutely amazing. I loved everything you talked about, and I really loved that you started out the whole conversation off with Wayne Dyer. He is one of like the best spiritual teachers that I've ever come across. And I actually just finished an audiobook from him. It was like Wayne Dyer's greatest hits or something on
Oh,
Audible. And it was like a 10-hour audiobook
wow.
of just like Wayne Dyer speeches. And if anyone hasn't checked him out, I would encourage it because he has some really great stuff. And Nisreen, you were talking about the 3 steps to awareness. Um, if anyone would like a PDF version of that, be sure to leave a comment down below so that way Nisreen can get in contact with you and she can actually send you a PDF of them. And now I wanted to ask you a few questions as I was listening that kind of came up, just to give people who are watching this maybe a little bit more in depth on some topics.
Mhm.
One question that came to mind was when you mentioned talking about past life regression. What is that, and how does it help people?
Okay, there are two ways. Some people believe in past lives. So when you're actually doing past life regression, you take it into consideration that the person believes that your soul could have had other lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there are others who don't believe, but they too benefit from it. Um, the way I do past lives is I it is through hypnosis, and I let your soul decide which life it would like you to consciously visit and get some knowledge from, which you can apply to this life and probably have a better understanding of yourself, at why you react to things the way you do, what triggers you or what doesn't, and a lot of different things. So that helps you understand yourself, and sometimes it even guides you as to what should be your next steps. So
Very
it's pretty
interesting.
pretty therapeutic.
Yeah. Now, another question is you mentioned that you work on hypnosis. Now, I remember when I was back in university, we had a hypnotist come in and he did a test with everyone in the audience first to see who was actually able to be hypnotized.
Right.
Now, he said that not everyone can be hypnotized. So, what is something like if someone came to you and they said, I don't know if I can actually be hypnotized, like, can you still help me? Is that something that you can do?
Yes. Because what is hypnosis is basically following the directions. And if you are willing to, and the thing is, you have to be comfortable with the hypnotist, because you are giving your control over, as per se, not really, but that's how you feel, right? So if you're comfortable with the hypnotist and know that the hypnotist is there to help you, then if you follow the directions, you can be hypnotized. The only people who I would say would be difficult to hypnotize are people who are control freaks, because they just don't, they're so scared to give up control that they will not follow the directions, because the hypnotist will ask you to imagine something or think about something, and they just won't do that.
Yeah. And I found that even for myself, when I've gone through like meeting with different hypnotists, that I almost get myself too in the space of it, of thinking like, okay, I'm about to be hypnotized. Get ready for it. Here it comes. And then it never ends up actually working.
Because you get in your own way.
Yeah.
Right. So I just
I
say,
know.
like, don't think of it as being hypnotized. Think of it as you're going on an imaginary journey just
Yeah.
for fun. And then it works.
And I found like that was a few years ago. And I found now, like now that I'm more connected with my spiritual practice, that I do every single day because being spiritual is a practice. It's something you have to do every single day. And through my meditation, I've become a lot better at getting into that space of being able to visualize and see everything. And I love the points that you were making about how everything is connected through vibration and that the universe itself can see through all the fakeness. So if someone's trying to put on a front, for example, the universe sees through it. The people may not, but the universe will see through it, and you will get your uh, you'll get yours after.
Well, it's so simple. If you are faking it, you will attract others who are faking it too.
Hmm.
So you will never attract an authentic person to you.
Yeah, I
Simple
know.
as that. Because that's
Yeah.
the vibration you're matching.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Well, Nisreen, I appreciate you coming on here today. I think a lot of people who watch this are going to get a lot of value out of it. I know as I was listening, I was like, yeah, I know about that stuff. But that's because I study spirituality and I study it almost every single day.
Mhm.
And I think people who are coming in to see this for maybe the first time, they'll get a lot of value out of it. So like I said at the beginning of the stream, if you're someone who wants to get in contact with Nisreen, all of her links are down in the description below. And please leave a comment as well to make sure that Nisreen can get in contact with you. If you want those 3 steps to awareness, make sure you leave a comment so she can also get in contact with you that way. Thank you so much, Nisreen. I appreciate you for coming. Thank you for being
Thank you,
here.
Jacob. Thank you
And
very
have
much.
a great rest of your day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.